Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear cadets, now in this lecture we'll be getting the concept of the pair annihilation and pair production. So at the moment we are going to study about the pair production. So our topic is pair production. So we are going to learn about the pair production. As you know by its name, that pair means two things combined together which produce a specific effect. Two things combined together. Usually, both are opposite to each other. Usually they are opposite, but it's not a compulsion that both are always opposite to each other. But usually it is happening that both are opposite to each other. Anyhow, so in this sense, and production means that something is being produced. So pair production, what is meant by the pair production, that there is a generation. Actually, it is the generation of a pair. Generation of a certain pair. Now, this is in the usual language, but in physics terminology, pair production means the production of a particle and an antiparticle. Both with opposite charges. Both have the opposite charges, and also both have opposite movement or direction of movement. So in physics terminology, there is a production of two particles which are opposite to each other. One is particle and the other is antiparticle, or you may say one is mass and the other is anti-mass. So this is the main meaning of this terminology, the pair production. So now, actually, why this pair production is coming to us, there is a certain interesting background behind it. So what happens that practically, that when a photon is moving, free photon, when there is a free photon moving in space, there is a free photon, it is moving in space. Then what happens to it? That it is converted into a particle, means an electron. One thing is electron, and another antiparticle, which is called as a positron. Why it is called as a positron? Because it has the positive charge. That's why it is called the positron, and also it is opposite of an electron because it has the same characteristics as compared to electron. It is exactly an electron but with opposite charge. So what is a positron? A positron is an electron with opposite charge. Electron is a mass particle, mass, or this is also called as the particle, with charge, with negative charge. While on the other hand, a positron is an anti-mass, anti-particle means anti-particle. With a unit positive charge but same mass of electron. Actually, what happens that when a free photon means the light or the electromagnetic radiation, for example, a visible light or X-ray or gamma ray or any radio wave and ultraviolet waves, so on, when they are moving in space, when they are freely moving in space, they are producing this effect. Actually, a free moving photon is going to be converted into an electron and a positron. And both of these are moving in the opposite direction to each other. They are moving in opposite direction. So when they are produced, they move in opposite directions. Opposite means at 180 degrees with each other. So now we will be trying to understand it diagrammatically. So let's consider that there is a photon of a certain wavelength moving in space with a certain wavelength and frequency and has a specific energy level. When it is coming at a certain point and it is not having any effect from outside, what is happening to it? That it is being converted into photon. For example, this is an X-ray electron or gamma ray electron, usually represented by the symbol gamma. So this is a photon coming from left to right, and at a certain point, it is going to be converted into an electron which is moving. Let's consider it is moving upwards. E negative stands for an electron, and the other is moving exactly in the opposite direction, another positive particle which is actually electron but with opposite charge, practically called as a positron, and both are having an angle of 180 degrees. So both are having an angle of 180 degrees. So this angle is 180 degrees, 180 degrees. So this is an amazing thing, and due to this fact, we have discovered a new particle called as a photon, as a positron. And positron is an antimatter. So a new term has been invented, and what is that term? That is an anti-particle, anti-mass. So in other words, we may write it in other notation. What is that? That when the photon is coming from the left, let us consider its energy is E photon. E photon means energy of the photon. So E photon, this will be equivalent to the energy after the event. What is that? That energy of the electron E negative, plus energy of the positron, which is called capital E. Capital E is standing for the energy, while the small e is standing for the electron, while the positive and negative are representing their relative charges. So E positive means positron, while E negative stands for an electron. So the total energy must be same to each other according to the law of conservation of energy, and this fact has been verified in the particle nature as well. That whenever there is a pair production, there is the production of these two things, and energy is same. But both have the opposite energies in opposite directions. Now, if you remember, then Einstein had told you that actually energy is equal to mc square. So we'll be writing energy as mc square. E is equal to mc square. So making the comparison of both, you get an important information. What is that information? That since we have said that the energy is equal to mc square, in case of an electron, the energy will be called as will be said to be m naught c square. So what is meant by this? That this is energy of a single electron. And we know that the energy of the positron will also be same. So this is energy of single electron, E negative, and now E positive will also be the same, which is also equal to m naught c square. M naught is the mass of electron or mass of positron, because both are having the same mass. So energy, this is actually the energy of a single positron. So if we are using both of these relations, then we may find another thing. What is that? That if we put these values, these two values into the equation, so for this value, these two values in this equation, putting values, what will happen? That the energy of the photon, or simply it is going to be written as simply energy, or E, you may write it as E photon or anything else. This will become, energy of photon will become first is E negative. E negative is actually m naught c square. So you may write in this place m naught c square. While the other is also same, because both are having same value. So E positive is also, E positive is also m naught c square. So you may put this m naught c square right here. So again, m naught c square plus m naught c square. So you see here that this is energy of total energy of the photon must be energy of photon must be equal to 2 m naught c square because they are being added 2 times with each other. Okay, so this is the derivation for the energy of the photon if we are considering the energy of the electron to the m naught c square and positron also m naught c square. Now, we have also learned that energy according to Planck's constant. According to Planck's constant, the energy is equal to hf, which is equal to hc by lambda. So I am erasing it. So energy according to Planck's constant, energy is equal to hf, which is equal to hc by lambda. We also had done the derivation in the previous class as well. Anyhow, so E is equal to hc by lambda. Therefore, now you may also write it as hf by so now H is equal to E is equal to this. According to the law of conservation of momentum, now I will be proceeding to the law of conservation of momentum. Momentum means linear momentum because there are two types of momentum. One is linear and the other is angular. We are talking about the linear momentum because this is a linear happening. Anyhow, so according to the law of linear momentum, law of conservation of linear momentum, what is the total momentum before an event must be equal to the total linear momentum after the event. In this case, in the current case, since the photon is moving and the event is happening and photon is going to be converted into an electron and positron, so the momenta of a photon will be the previous to the event, means the before event, while the sum of the momenta of electron and positron will be considered to be after the moment. So here the momentum before the event is hf by c, because momentum is equal to energy by speed. So this will become hf by c. C is the speed of light, and after collision it is the momentum of electron plus momentum of positron. Is equal to momentum of electron plus momentum of the positron. Therefore, Therefore, we can write 8C HF by C, HF divided by C is equal to MV negative of the means V means velocity of the electron plus MV E positive. E positive is standing for the velocity. VE positive means velocity of the positron. So we can write this equation, and this equation can be used for the energy and momentum calculations of the electron and positron. This is the final relation for it. In your course, only this relation is considered. I hope you are having the better understanding of it. If you are having any confusion, you may ask, please. Do you have any question in your mind? Please. Any questions? Ghulam Mujtaba, Bilal Kino, Taha, do you have any questions? Okay, so we have to move ahead. So after getting this concept, we have done the proper derivation, and now we have to look into another detail, that what the experiments are saying to us. When the photon is being converted into the electron and positron, means that pair production, when the pair production is happening, then the pair production will happen only under a certain condition. The pair production can happen only under certain conditions. It occurs only when the photon is passing near a heavy nucleus. Usually, that when it is passing through from nearby a heavy nucleus, that is not usually a heavy nucleus only, that if it is passing through from nearby a heavy nucleus or any other heavy particle, otherwise it doesn't occur. So this is the main condition for the, so this is the main condition for the pair production to occur. Okay. So, and another aspect is that the electron has a certain amount of energy, a significant amount of energy. So we have assumed that the electron-positron pair has an approximation, because at the current time we are unable to do proper experiments. still, although we have best technology these days, but still we are unable to completely deal with this phenomenon. We have much more to understand in future. So we are desiring that in the future, we are hopeful about it, get more information about it.
सर क्लास किस टाइम पे और होगी सर?
Class is not over because it had been started at 11:45 and now 30 minutes, just 30 minutes have been lapsed, 34 minutes, so 6 minutes are left.
6 मिनट रहते हैं सर क्लास ओवर होने में?
Yes.
ओके सर.
सर लास्ट क्लास किसकी है?
Okay, so anyhow, so we had been using the approximation. So whatever we are saying about the energy approximations, it is only an approximation because we are confident. Still, we are not having any proper calculation of the total energies of the electron and positron. But we have made approximations on our own confidence on the law of conservation of energy. So this statement says that still we have not got proper approximation of proper calculation of the exact amount of the amounts of the positron energies of the positron and electron, because they are very small particles, so that our best modern technology is unable to do or treat with them. But still we are making the approximation because in our routine life we have seen that energy is always conserved. Why? Because it is due to the fact that in our routine life, as well as the best possible lab experiments, we have always found that law of conservation of energy always exists. It is always existing. So we are confident that the process of pair production also follows this law, because still we have not got any proof against this law. So still we have not got any proof against the law of conservation of energy. Therefore, we are confident that this law is still being followed and in this process or in this pair production. So we have just confidence in ourselves. That's why we are talking about each and everything. Therefore, we have complete confidence. Anyhow, for the next time, we will be studying the pair annihilation. What is pair annihilation? This is the reverse process of the pair production. So for the next time, we will study the pair annihilation. Pair annihilation. Which is reverse process of pair production. But this will be studied in the next lecture. For the moment,
सर ये होगा ना,
yes.
ये जो आप नेक्स्ट टाइम पढ़ाएंगे ये पेयर एनिलेशन, ये सारा इसके ऑपोजिट होगा ना जो आज पढ़ाया है, पेयर प्रोडक्शन का ऑपोजिट होगा।
Yes. Pair annihilation is considered to be the opposite of the pair production.
ओके सर,
Any
चलिए
doubt?
सर स्क्रीन भेजिए,
Yes.
सर स्क्रीनशॉट भेज दूं आपको अटेंडेंस का या आप खुद ले लेंगे?
I have taken the attendance.
ओके सर, ओके।
Any other
अल्लाह
person?
हाफिज। नो सर, नो सर।
Okay, any other person? No question?
नो क्वेश्चन सर।
Okay, then thank you very much and Allah Hafiz.
अल्लाह हाफिज सर।